64-degree night in Mountain View, California. We welcome you to West Catholic Athletic League basketball on KMVT Sports. Alongside Spencer McGlaughlin, Jack Benjamin on hand. Spencer, couple of WCL teams that matched up just 2 weeks ago. A 70-60 win on the road for St. Francis. What do the Fightin Irish have to do to flip the script here tonight?
Well, they're going to have to finish stronger than they did last time. After 3 quarters, the game was tied at 49, but St. Francis pulled away, ended up winning the game by 10. So Sacred Heart Cathedral is going to have to finish strong in the second half.
And the Fightin Irish hoping that their star sophomore guard, Bryce Monroe, can carry them to a road win here tonight, averaging about 22 a game in WCL play. What are you seeing from him?
An exceptional all-around player, really a shoot-first, attack-second kind of guard, but definitely a capable finisher inside, and he loves the mid-range game. He's got an elite-level mid-range shot, and he's going to be going to it all night long.
Oh, when we talk about elite-level talent, we don't want to neglect St. Francis' star senior guard and Logan Johnson. He's a Cincinnati commit, and he does it all for the Lancers.
Yeah, he does, and he's an attack-first, shoot-second type of player for the Lancers, and really just a prolific finisher inside, really good at using both hands, and a good passer as well.
He does get some help, though. Roy Yuan, a junior guard and a sharpshooter for them, shooting at about 43% from three-point range, averaging 15 a game in WCL play.
Yeah, he is. He's been great for Logan Johnson as a complimentary player all year long. A reason that Logan Johnson leads his team in assists. Definitely going to look for Roy Yuan to have a good three-point game tonight for St. Francis.
Chance for revenge here tonight for Sacred Heart Cathedral, who have lost 7 in a row to St. Francis. Big chance for a road win here tonight. Sacred Heart Cathedral and St. Francis comes your way next on KMVT Sports. And from Alumni Gym on the campus of St. Francis High School, we welcome you to a production of the West Catholic Athletic League on KMVT Sports. The Sacred Heart Cathedral Fightin Irish and the St. Francis Lancers. Why don't we check out the standings around the WCL and take a quick look? And as you can see, St. Francis just a game back of Bellarmine College Prep, who actually had their 24-game winning streak in the WCL snapped by Midi just last week. So St. Francis just a game back. Meanwhile, Sacred Heart Cathedral Prep 2-7, actually 3-7. We were a game off there, hoping for a road win here tonight. And why don't we take a quick look at the starting lineups that they'll try to use to do just that. First for Sacred Heart Cathedral, a very good backcourt. Bryce Monroe, Gary Hudson, and Elijah Flowers. And Spencer, Bryce Monroe, the key guy for them.
Yeah, he is. He's had 6 games over 20 points in WCL play and has a season high of 29 points, which came right after he got his Division I offer from St. John's. Really just an exceptional all-around player. Got a really great first step. Plays with an aggressive mentality. Definitely a big player for Sacred Heart Cathedral tonight.
E.J. Neal and Amin Oglesby round out the front court for Sacred Heart Cathedral. Meanwhile, for St. Francis, they come in 8-2. Winning ways as always, 16-4, and well, they've won their last 2 after having lost 2 games in a row, a rarity for them. They go with a great backcourt of Logan Johnson, Roy Yuan, and Oscar Pedraza, who's moved into that starting role in the latter part here of WCL play. And then Maurice Wilmer, and Mateo Fontana in the front court alongside Spencer McGlaughlin, Jack Benjamin on hand. And Spencer, when you look at this matchup tonight, Sacred Heart Cathedral, a 10-point loss at home a couple weeks ago. What's the key for you here tonight?
Well, they have to win the battle of the star players. It's Logan Johnson and it's Bryce Monroe. And if Sacred Heart Cathedral is able to keep this game close, it's going to come down to which star player can outplay the other. So Bryce Monroe is going to have to be on top of his game. He's going to need help from the supporting cast, but he's definitely going to have to be the one leading the charge.
We're almost 2 minutes into the first quarter at Alumni Gym.
And that last pass there is not how you want to beat the zone, because you're throwing it into the traffic. When you drive, you got to look for where the open areas, where they become open, not where you want them to actually be open.
Gary Hudson for 3. He can shoot it from deep, and a 7-0 start on the road here for Sacred Heart Cathedral.
Yeah, 42% three-point shooter on the year. Hudson shooting it at an elite mark. I bet you he loves seeing that zone defense.
Pedraza, teardrop, won't go. And now the Fightin Irish are running. Oglesby. Good double team there from St. Francis in the corner. Here's a drive by Hudson. How about the dish off and one? Elijah Flowers, who averages just 8 a game. He's halfway there in the first. A 9-0 start for Sacred Heart Cathedral.
And really just a beautiful find on the drive by Hudson, who went all the way up. I thought he was going to shoot it. but then he pulled it down and dropped it off to Flowers. Just a good, smart play. It's just selfless basketball. It's team basketball. Rather than going in the lane, he could have justified shooting that, but he wanted to get the easy bucket. Really a beautiful play there from Gary Hudson.
How about a mass substitution here from Mike Motil? You don't see this very often. Everyone who started the game is now out, so I'll try to get everyone here in a second. Evan Williams is in, along with Tyler Manoa, Anthony Lanfear, Charles Mang, and I'm missing one other, Trevor Leon. A platoon substitution as the three-point play is converted. 10-0 early for Sacred Heart Cathedral. Lanfear inside, the first points of the night for St. Francis.
I don't think it's the worst decision by Mike Motil, as Monroe can't get the jumper to go because his starters came out and they were flat.
Mo Wilmer gets his rebound on a three, and he's out of bounds on the miss on the follow-up. And it goes back to Sacred Heart Cathedral. 5:41 to go now in this first half, and a 29-15 lead for Sacred Heart Cathedral. If you're just joining us, second meeting of the season between these two, the first one on January the 16th, going to St. Francis. That pass knocked out of bounds by Pedraza. A 70-60 win for the Lancers, but a game that was tied at 49 at the end of the third quarter. And if you talk with Sean McKay, he says, hey, our group should have won that game. Now, they're certainly showing signs of a revenge match here tonight.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they just look more energetic and they look more determined, especially on the glass, than St. Francis does. And those types of little things are how you beat a team that might be better than you statistically.
They started on a 10-0 run to begin the game. They led by as much as 15. Shot clock to 10 for E.J. Neal. Off balance, and he drains it. And the largest lead at 16 now for Sacred Heart Cathedral with 5 to go in the first half.
I've been really impressed with E.J. Neal tonight. He is hitting some difficult shots, off balance, hesitation, pull-ups. He's really showing his full offensive arsenal tonight.
St. Francis just can't get anything going as Neal flies backward. Pedraza gave him a little arm check. Maybe a little acting job there.
Maybe a little bit. You know, I think anytime there's a block or a charge, one bench is extremely unhappy. Somebody is always unhappy, even if it's obvious. Oh, he was moving his feet. He wasn't completely, you know, somebody's always unhappy. That time, Cathedral's bench not thrilled with the call.
Under 5 to go in the first half. Here's Yuan knocking down a three. Well, he can get hot in a hurry, and there's a reason why St. Francis is never out of a game. Roy Yuan averages 15 in WCL play. He's got 6, and it's a 13-point game. Here's Neal for 3. A little short. And back to the Lancers it goes with 4:26 to go in the first half.
And Logan Johnson is looking like a one-man rebounding team out there right now. Really the only Lancer who's showing any kind of determination and will on the boards. St. Francis is going to have to step it up as a team as the game goes on.
Yuan again. A mini 6-0 run by himself. It's back to a 10-point game.
And when we've watched what he's done over the course of the season, he does get hot in a hurry, and he makes his threes in a time span of 1 or 2 minutes, and that's what he's doing once again tonight.
Monroe misses the floater. St. Francis can get it inside of double digits. Wilmer down the lane, and one. Mo Wilmer showing that football speed, Spencer, the best defensive back on the St. Francis team. He goes coast to coast and can make it a 7-point game. It's an 8-0 run for St. Francis.
And being a multi-sport athlete in high school is absolutely beneficial. You talk to anyone who does play multiple sports, they often say that it's better to play more than one sport than it is to just focus on one sport, because there's different types of coordination required. You have to move your body in all different kinds of ways. Really good explosive speed there from Mo Wilmer as he knocks down the free throw and finishing through the contact.
7-point game now. It was 16 just a few moments ago. 3:45 to go here in the first half. And a timeout taken by head coach Sean Mackay, wanting to stop the momentum. A 9-0 run for St. Francis to get back within 7 with 3:43 left here in this first half.
And I think the reason for that timeout was how they were about to try to beat the pressure. It was kind of getting close to 10 seconds, but E.J. Neal trying to do it himself, trying to dribble his way through the press. That's not what you want to do. When you're facing a zone press like that, you want to find the gaps and quick hitting passes to the open guys.
And let me ask you this, Spencer. When you look at this game, the way it's developed, obviously the early start from Sacred Heart Cathedral, they led by as much as 16. What's flipped it around for St. Francis? Obviously they've hit some shots. seems like they're just playing harder.
It is. You know, they're getting out in transition offensively, like you saw in the last play with Mo Wilmer, but they really are just playing with more energy than they were early on. That's been the biggest, most fundamental difference between the first few minutes and what we're seeing now.
Oglesby down low, had it knocked away. Here comes St. Francis. Wilmer, kick out. Yuan, another three. And Oglesby tracks down the rebound. Approaching 3 to go in the first half. Sacred Heart Cathedral up by 7. They've led by as much as 16. A galloping Neal to the hoop and able to scoop it home with the left hand.
And once again, just showing all the offensive moves that he's got tonight. Three-pointer, mid-range, now getting inside, finishing with the off-pan. Really good, efficient night so far for E.J. Neal.
9 for Neal as Johnson gets inside, and he'll get right back to the free throw line. That's the 7th team foul, by the way, on Sacred Heart Cathedral. So bonus situation rest of the half. That one is in the act of shooting regardless, and it goes on Oglesby.
I almost wonder if Logan Johnson prefers to drive to his right. He hasn't driven to his left all game. When he comes down in the fast breaks, he goes to his right hand every time. And one reason that could be is that the defense is sitting on his left hand. And so he's worked on his right hand so much both in games and in practice that he's just more comfortable with it. And the defense is shading to his left hand because he is left-handed. But really impressive ambidextrous stuff here from Logan Johnson.
Logan Johnson, senior point guard, a Cincinnati commit. Headed to play with Mick Cronin and company. The Bearcats, of course, ranked in the top 15 most of the year so far as he misses the second. 3 for 4 now at the line today. Hasn't had a field goal yet, but his Lancers are within 8 and under 3 to go here in the first half. Here is Bryce Monroe. Good dish inside. Oglesby patiently waiting to lay it in. Back to a double-digit game at 10.
And like you said, just good patience to let the traffic clear down low and to finish straight up. Beautiful move by Johnson.
Johnson going right again in an offensive foul, and Johnson beside himself as he hops up, and a good charge taken that time. You can see E.J. Neal. He's taken a couple of those already. Here's a fun fact for you, Spencer. Last year for E.J. Neal, he took over 60 charges, according to his head coach, Sean McKay.
And that is just the stat that all coaches love to hear from any player, because that is the ultimate hustle stat where you're willing to give it up for your team, is taking the charge.
Knocked out of the hands of Logan Johnson. It'll stay with St. Francis. And we welcome you back to Alumni Gym, where Sacred Heart Cathedral, the Fightin Irish, lead St. Francis 42-31 alongside Spencer McGlaughlin, Jack Benjamin on end. Spencer, the 3-ball working for the Fightin Irish in that first half.
Yeah, almost half their points coming off threes. They made 6 in that first half, and it was their ball movement against the zone. And so St. Francis didn't make an adjustment into man-to-man defense. They stuck with that zone, but Cathedral was able to exploit it for the entirety of that half. That's a big reason why they're up by 11 right now.
The Fightin Irish got 11 from Bryce Monroe, and for some pretty good defense as well. They drew a couple charges. E.J. Neal drew some charges, hit a couple threes as well. He was terrific in that first half.
Yeah, he did. He was really impressive offensively, and if he keeps it going in this second half, to win the game the way that Bryce Monroe has been playing, and the fact they're up by 11.
If we talked about keys to the game coming in, well, obviously one of them was to win this game on the road. The 2 best players for Sacred Heart Cathedral had to play well. Well, E.J. Neal, their second leading scorer, has 9. Bryce Monroe, their leading scorer, halfway to his WCL average with 11. They were terrific. What does St. Francis have to do to slow those guys down?
Well, I touched in the pregame that it was going to be a battle of the stars, and Monroe so far has outplayed Logan Johnson. But if you're St. Francis, to slow down Neal and Monroe, you've got to change up your defensive looks and just hound them up top and not let them get so comfortable offensively.
Sacred Heart Cathedral starts with it to begin the second half. They led by as much as 16 in the first. They started the game on a 10-0 run. Oglesby getting inside and had it knocked away. Hudson, a 3. It's off, and another offensive rebound for the Fightin Irish.
But you see that St. Francis is coming out in man-to-man, trying to change up the looks that they show Cathedral stars.
Monroe misfires. Another offensive rebound. Hudson to Neal. Pump fake on a 3, and he got hit going up, and that's 3 tries offensively. That's just too much if you're the St. Francis defense.
Hey, it looks like exactly how the game started. Just a lack of energy from St. Francis, having the mindset of, oh, someone else will get the rebound, I don't have to crash, and give Cathedral some credit. They've been crashing the offensive glass hard, and they've been the aggressors early, and that's why they're building on their lead right now.
E.J. Neal, who was a second-team WCL selection last year with 16.5 points a game. He's taken a little bit of a backseat to sophomore Bryce Monroe, but he makes both free throws. Tonight he's got 11. And now a 12-point lead for the Sacred Heart Cathedral Fightin Irish as they try to even this season series. A 10-point win for St. Francis on January the 16th as Johnson misses. Lanfear rebounds for the Lancers.
And if St. Francis is going to get back into this game, I think Logan Johnson's got to take over like he's capable of.
Blocking foul called there, and if that's on Monroe, it'll be number 2. And it goes instead, looks like on Neal. So that's 3 now on Neal, Spencer, and some foul trouble building for Sacred Heart Cathedral. The one thing, if you're St. Francis, the fouls certainly in their favor in that first half. 11 on Sacred Heart Cathedral, only 6 on the Lancers.
Yeah, and the calls just really, they've been a little inconsistent, but really it's just a matter of Cathedral's been more aggressive. As Mo Wilmer's the more aggressive player on that play there, but being more aggressive does have its downside. Sometimes you'll get more fouls, but as long as you can control that, it's definitely an advantage.
Second foul on Mo Wilmer. To update you on the Sacred Heart Cathedral foul situation, 3 on Neal, 3 on Flowers, and 2 on Chang. For St. Francis, 3 on their star point guard, Logan Johnson, and then 2 on Mo Wilmer. 13-point lead for Sacred Heart Cathedral, a minute into the third. Oglesby inside, it slides off, and Lanfear with the rebound. The Lancers got as close as 7 in the first half early on as a blocking foul again called, and this one goes on Neal again. That's 4.
And I think that one should have been a no call, but going back to the last possession, as good a move as it was by Oglesby down low, he had Flowers wide open for a layup on the baseline. He needed to make that extra pass, and we saw Cathedral playing more selfless basketball in the first half, and that's why their offense was so effective, and they need to not get away from that if they want to hold on to this lead.
Potentially a big call in this game at the 6:29 mark of the third quarter. The 4th foul on Neal. So in comes Levon Johns. Neal has to sit down, and one more free throw for Mo Wilmer. 6'2" junior. He's got offers to play football and baseball at San Jose State. Makes both. An 11-point game in Sacred Heart Cathedral now will try to keep this lead with their second best player on the bench. Levon Johns. Man look now from St. Francis. Here's Hudson. Oglesby. Good take to the rim and lays it in softly. And a 13-point lead for the Fightin Irish, under 6 to go in the third.
And good adjustment there by head coach Sean Mackay, who got them into a man-beating type of offense, which is that kind of dribble drive and handoff penetration look, and good execution by his team.
Yuan fouled, called on Hudson, and that's number 2 on Gary Hudson, the senior. Again, foul situation piling up early in this second half. Already 3 on Sacred Heart Cathedral, and Roy Yuan goes to the line. He kept them in it in that first half, Spencer, with 9 and 3 threes.
And we've seen him drive now twice in a row. Not something we see him do a lot of, but something he's clearly good at. Does a good job of shielding the ball from the bigger defenders as he goes in. Obviously able to draw the foul on that last possession, but also someone, in addition to Logan Johnson, that St. Francis has to get going to get back into the game.
Back to an 11-point game and a steal for St. Francis. Johnson, Yuan for 3. The crowd ready to erupt, and that's off the hands of Oglesby. It'll stay with the Lancers. Great look there for Yuan, just couldn't knock it down.
And a good steal by Pedraza to read the eyes of Cathedral's press break and really to pick off that pass at center court, kind of playing like a safety in football.
46-35 the lead right now for Sacred Heart Cathedral. 5:35 to go in the third quarter. Yuan, a 3, bucket. Roy Yuan with 14 now on the night, and St. Francis is back within 8.
And you can't give him an inch of breathing space. I mean, he's taking these threes, and he's got a guy almost right in his grill, but he's firing away anyway effectively.
A turnover on Sacred Heart Cathedral off the hands of Flowers, and a timeout taken by head coach Sean Mackay. A little momentum swing here in this game as St. Francis gets themselves back into it. Little 5-0 spurt, and they're within 8 with 5:23 to go in the third.
And if I'm St. Francis coming on this next possession, you finally got it under 10, you've got some momentum, I go to Logan Johnson. I give him the ball and let him make a play. He's your star player. He's your best playmaker. He's your best finisher at the rim. This is a time where you really need a bucket to keep your momentum going, so I'm looking to get Logan Johnson involved on this next possession.
KMVT Sports would like to thank our sponsor, Altos Mobile Massage. Massage can change your mental and physical state and inspire you to give power and energy to solutions. Altos Mobile Massage brings the massage to you. Sometimes a little pressure is a good thing. Jack Benjamin, Spencer McGlaughlin at Alumni Gym at St. Francis High School, where the Sacred Heart Cathedral Fightin Irish lead the St. Francis Lancers 46-38, 5:23 to go in the third. And this was a game won by St. Francis on the road when the two teams first matched up on January the 16th. A little different story tonight. Sacred Heart Cathedral has led by as much as 16, but their lead down to 8. Sacred Heart Cathedral started this game on a 10-0 run. They led by as much as 16 in the second quarter, by 11 at the half. Their lead is down to 3. They still have not trailed tonight. They have the ball now as St. Francis comes out of that defensively with a man-to-man look. Flowers looking for Monroe, and they deny him with Johnson, and now he has it up top. Under 3 to go in the third quarter. 3-point lead for the Fightin Irish. Monroe's been the man again tonight for Sacred Heart Cathedral with 13. Gets inside and misses the scoop shot. Chance to get within 1 or tie the game right here for St. Francis. Wilmer galloping down the lane and missed the push shot. Levon Johns slows it up for Sacred Heart Cathedral as we're at 2:30 to go in the third.
And Johns is not looking to be aggressive offensively. Passed up a layup on the last possession. Good aggression by Johnson out front.
Monroe called for an offensive foul, and that's his second. And now the 8th on Sacred Heart Cathedral.
And if we were in college or the NBA, he might have been in the restricted area, Lanphier that is, but alas, we are not, and that is a perfectly legal charge and a good take there from Lanphier.
Tyler Manoa, who we haven't seen much of in this third quarter, checks back in. Lanphier comes out. So it's Johnson, Wilmer, Charles Meng. Lucas Lee, I beg your pardon, and then Oscar Pedraza and Logan Johnson for St. Francis. For Sacred Heart Cathedral, you've got Bryce Monroe, Levon Johns, and then Oglesby and Oscar Chang, along with Elijah Flowers. Johnson to tie it with a 3, in and out. And Wilmer, an offensive rebound. Manoa back up and in. It's a 1-point game with 2 to play here in the third.
And just strength from Tyler Manoa. That's all that was. Boxing his guy out to get position inside and then finishing up through a little bit of contact.
Down the lane for Monroe on the scoop. And a foul called, and he'll get right back to the free throw line. It goes on Manoa.
And good recognition there from Monroe to see the lane and to see that Manoa is not as quick as he is, obviously, because he's a very shifty guy, and to go right at him and not be afraid of the big man and to draw the foul for 2 free throws.
Bryce Monroe at the line, and he misses a free throw there. Had been 2 for 2 on the night. He's got 12 points. Averages 22, we said, in WCL play, and he's got offers rolling in. Just got one recently from St. John's. Actually got it right before their game against St. Ignatius, a big 78-72 home win last Tuesday, and he dropped the season-high 29 as he makes that free throw. It's back to a 2-point lead now for Sacred Heart Cathedral. Lucas Lee for 3. And the first lead of the night for St. Francis.
And I like this from St. Francis, keeping the full court pressure on, even though they have the lead back, trying to force the issue here for Cathedral.
Monroe throws it away. Lee to Johnson, waiting patiently, and a travel. Wow. Travel called on Logan Johnson. He certainly didn't like it, and goes back to Sacred Heart Cathedral.
And good aggression as I mentioned, by the Lancers here on this full court pressure, which we'll see again. But Cathedral's got to make an adjustment. Too many guys up court, not able to help the ball handler.
Another turnover. Johnson inside, and he misses. Flowers diving on the floor forward, and another travel called on that one. Wow. Sacred Heart Cathedral losing their composure a little bit here down the stretches of the third quarter. 50-49, the lead for St. Francis, their first lead of the game right now.
And a really chaotic sequence, but it seems to be favoring St. Francis right now. So if I'm Mike Motil, I keep up this high-pressure, high-intensity environment.
A minute to go in the third. We've got a dandy here at Alumni Gym. St. Francis going for the season sweep of Sacred Heart Cathedral. Lob from Wilmer down low to Johnson. And knocked out of bounds by Oglesby. Stays with the Lancers.
Wilmer trying to throw the corner favor out there to Logan Johnson. There it is again.
Johnson and one. What a finish in traffic by the senior. And a three-point lead for St. Francis.
And we've mentioned that Cathedral is the shorter team here tonight, and St. Francis has got some great athletes like Wilmer and Johnson. They're starting to take advantage of that athleticism, just going up and over Cathedral defenders, really doing a good job of forcing their will inside.
Foul there called on Flowers. That's his fourth. So 4 on Flowers. 4 on E.J. Neal, who's we haven't seen since the very early stages of the third quarter when he picked up his fourth. And Johnson, a free throw, and he makes it a 4-point game. Johnson's got 10 as Roy Yuan checks back in for the final 49.8 here of the third, a 53-49 lead for the Lancers. Full court pressure again from St. Francis, and they find Monroe. 2-on-1. Gary Hudson a 3. And he misfires again and tracked down well in the corner. Monroe stepping in for 3. That one is short. Another rebound. About a half-second game clock, shot clock difference here in the third quarter. 4-point deficit now for Cathedral. Lavon Johns to Oglesby. No cushion given by Manoa on the baseline. It's out of bounds with 21 on both the shot clock and the game clock.
Well, it's no wonder Manoa's going to play defensive tackle at UCLA. He just takes up space down there. Oglesby got that ball. Looked like he had some room. Manoa took one step over, and he was out of room. Oglesby tried to move him, as he's probably accustomed to doing against defenders on the season, but Tyler Manoa, a different kind of player.
Big sequence here for Sacred Heart Cathedral. Down 4 now, their largest deficit and only deficit tonight. Into the game, we should mention for the first time, Desai Lopez for St. Francis. Game clock and shot clock down to 8 as E.J. Neal is back in, and a 5-second call on the ball. You don't see that called much in high school basketball. They call it there on Neal, and it goes back to the Lancers. They've had all the momentum here in this third quarter. In this game, Spencer, it's been now a 20-point turnaround. They once trailed by 16.
And absolutely the right call there by the officials, but the energy of St. Francis, they look like a completely different team than what we saw in the first quarter. They've really picked it up.
22-7 so far in the third. Pedraza for 3! How about that to end the third? Oscar Pedraza pulling up from near the midcourt line. Buries it from 25, and a 7-point lead to go to the break for St. Francis. To the fourth quarter we go. A WCL matchup. It's St. Francis on top of Sacred Heart Cathedral, 56-49. This is WCL basketball on KMVT Sports. As they triggered into Logan Johnson. They've taken over here in this third quarter. Johnson to the rim and throws down the sledgehammer.
And Johnson, who's been frustrated all night, not able to get it going inside like we're accustomed to seeing, finally just says, you know what, I'm just going to throw it down. What a beautiful play and an athletic play from Logan Johnson.
Logan Johnson and St. Francis have taken over in this second half.